First, I want to thank Dave, Rob, Natalie for feeding me for the last week, and I hope you have the swimming lens on that camera. Definitely gained about 10 pounds. I've been doing this about 7 years now. When I got into this industry, I came from the furthest away of this industry as I possibly could. I've been in sales my whole life, but I never was in the body industry or paint. When I first got in the industry and I was getting trained, it seemed like the whole industry was selling from the back side of the shop forward. They'd go in the back door, they'd talk to the techs, they'd talk to the painters, but they were never talking to the managers. And I always learned that you learn to sell for the decision maker. So the shop I chose was Glidden Auto Body, and I've been working with them for the last 7 years. When I walked into this shop, it was a $3 million shop, it was a good sized shop, and the owner always looked down and degraded salespeople when I came to the door. And I wanted to find a way for him to look at me as an even level. So I asked a lot of open-ended questions, and I did something that a lot of salespeople have a hard time doing, and I listened. And I listened for a couple of days in these meetings and them discussing what needed to be changed in the shop. And the biggest thing they wanted to change was they weren't making enough money on P&M. And they were also thought they were giving away their materials. So I listened to this and I did some investigating, not knowing that this class was available to me at the time. And I did a lot of homework, and their P&M at the time was 8%. And I convinced John, I asked him, I said, where do you want your paint material sales to be? He said, if I gave it 25%, I'd be happy. So I convinced him to do a bonus program for the paint shop. Anything over 25%, they could split amongst themselves. And then they went from 8% in 2 months, they were running 32% to 35%. And everyone was happy. He was getting his 25%, they were making their bonus, and I wasn't feeling any pressure on what I was charging them for my materials. Then I took it a next step further, and I got the Ubico tracking system in there. And what the Ubico system will do is allow you to charge all your bills. You'll print an invoice for your clips, your sound, your light bulbs, all this, and it was sitting on this computer. Every morning, it would show how much he billed out. It was like a game to him to see how much money he made the day before. That first year, I did a pie chart at the end for him, and we did everything, and just making those 2 changes increased his sales about $75,000. And that was cash in his pocket. Now I had his attention. And we went to every 2-week meeting, we'd sit down with the management staff, and we'd go over all these options that are available to him. I also found how dangerous it could be, and how I'd be really careful of what I said and how I said it. We had a meeting one day, and this parts, he didn't really have a parts department. So we went to a dinner meeting, and I drew on the back of the napkin the shop, and I said, you need a parts department here, John. And I drew it, and I drew this big bay door, all the dimensions, and how it should be run. I go in there the following Wednesday, there's a backhoe digging a hole for his new parts department. So without knowing this was available, for me coming outside the industry, I was a selling consultant from up front. But what I'm excited about now is that I had all these tools spread out all over the place. And it was very hard for me to manually implement this. And yeah, it was great to do it at Glidden's Auto Body, but how was I going to do it Auto Body A, B, C, and D? Now I have a toolbox to go with. Now everything that I had been doing is concise, to the point, and very easy to make presentations, and I'm excited because Glidden's now is well over $4 million a year. In 7 years we went from 3, they did 4.2, and John did 15% for himself at the end of the year. But now I have more ideas I can go back with and even expand that further, and now I can take it to my B, C, and D shops and have the time and the effort to be able to do it. So I want to appreciate the opportunity, and I want to thank you, and I want to thank MCS, and I want to thank you for providing me with the tools so I can take what I've already been doing, expand it further, and then take it to the next level in my next shops. Thank you very much.